What's up, self-healers? Lisa Lightfeather here. Welcome to my channel, Closing the Gap, where we make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your spiritual journey. Today I will be referencing the topic of imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is the feeling of being inadequate, even though you're qualified to do something. The other day, I was going to come on the channel with the topic of shadow work. And as I was going through shadow work and going over the practices that I've used in the past that I could share with you, the shadow itself appeared. In the shadow appearing and me going into my own personal shadow work, I thought to myself, how can I give someone instruction on shadow work when I'm still doing shadow work myself? Yeah? Shadow work is something that never ends. It's a lifelong journey because the shadow never goes anywhere. But that is a form of imposter syndrome. I didn't feel qualified to teach the topic on that day or share the topic on that day because I was struggling with it myself. So I didn't quite feel like I had the pleasure of sharing with you because I still needed work in that area myself. Now, that doesn't make it true, but that's what I felt. Yeah? So an imposter syndrome is the feeling of feeling inadequate because you don't feel as though you're good enough to be doing what you're doing. Another form of imposter syndrome is that when we compare ourselves to others, when we look at others and say, well, gosh, they're already doing that, this person is already doing that, that person's already talking on that topic, speaking on that topic, I'm just, why would I even try, right? And what I want to share with you is that 10 people can be doing the same thing, and all 10 of them will carry a different frequency. They'll carry a different vibrational frequency. One of my favorite memes that I've seen on social media is about walking down the bread aisle, yeah? And you see 50 different brands of bread. And every time you go to the grocery store, those 50 brands are there. They're staying in business. How are they staying in business? Because I might like this brand, you might like the other brand, and every time we come to the store, we go to the one that we like. We go to the one that we vibrate towards, right? It's the same thing on your spiritual journey. On your spiritual journey, you may want to help people with their health by making natural products, right? Natural toothpaste, natural soaps, natural lotions, natural hair products. And there's 20 other people that are making all these things. But people will be drawn to you based off the frequency that you put into your product, the frequency that you put into your work. Feeling inadequate in a space where you are desperately needed. That's imposter syndrome. We need your spiritual gifts. We need what you have to bring to the table. Even if 20 people are doing it, we need your frequency because your vibe is going to attract your tribe, and your tribe is waiting on you. Yeah? So some of the spiritual gifts or spiritual callings that we may have that we feel like, oh, we're not quite good enough in yet, but we have a calling, we know we have a knack for it, but imposter syndrome is preventing us from bringing it to the forefront and bringing it to people as a service. Let's go with tarot card reading, for example. People who read tarot and read it well change people's lives. They give them direction, they give them pointers, they give them foresight. Astrology is another one. Astrology, a person's natal chart, is the blueprint At the moment they took their first breath, it's the blueprint of their life. You can tell a person what their destiny is in this lifetime, what the best career choice will be in this lifetime, what their strongest pain body is in this lifetime. This is life-changing information that we need to bring to people. There are many of you out there with these gifts, but because of imposter syndrome, you won't bring it forward. Or because 10 other people are doing it or 20 other people are doing it, you feel like you're just pouring water in the river, that there's no sense in you bringing yours forward because everybody's already doing it. But this goes back to your vibe attracts your tribe. Let's use doula, being a doula, for example. There may be 1 million people who are doulas, right? But what are they bringing to the table? What is it that you can bring to the table? Off the top, you're bringing your frequency, because none of us carry the same frequency, right? So in taking care of yourself, doing whatever it is it requires to help you vibrate higher, whether it be diet, exercise, meditation, learning about the energetic body, whatever you're doing to make yourself vibrate higher, and you're bringing this doula practice with a different frequency. Yeah? And so one person may be being a doula over here, but as you're a doula, you're also creating the herbs that you place the lotus birth in, the afterbirth in. You may be doing the yoni steams that assist the mother in getting her body back in alignment. You may be doing assisting mothers in learning how to get the baby to latch on to the breast so that the baby can breastfeed properly. There's a lot of new mothers who have a difficult time with that. You may walk them through postpartum. You may go from beginning to end. And when the other doula, she may go from the beginning of pregnancy until the time of birth. You can pick it up from the time of birth until the end, until the mother is fully recovered, or do the whole spectrum. So it's your vibe that attracts your tribe. Let's use death doula as an example. Now, being a death doula is not as common as being a birth doula. However, being a death doula it's needed. It is needed. There are so many people who are afraid of death. You have people that are afraid of death that aren't even close to it. People in their 20s and their 30s, and they just have this extreme fear of death. As a death doula, you walk a person through the period of transitioning to the other side by being by their side during the process. That's a death doula. But what else can a death doula do? What else can a death doula do to bring their frequency to their service that they're providing? They can work with the wife or the husband after the spouse has transitioned. The spouse may be elderly, and they say something like, well, I know my husband had life insurance, but I don't know with who. I know that my wife had benefits. I know she was prior military, and so I know that I have benefits, but I don't know where to start. And so not only are you holding the individual's hand and assisting them in transitioning to the other side, but now you're closing the gaps for their loved ones. Yeah? You're going the extra mile. You're bringing your frequency to the table. When I was in the military, I was enlisted, and I wanted to become an officer. When I went to my interview to become an officer, I was interviewed by a 4-star general. He was way up there. And here I was, just an enlisted soldier, and I wanted to be an officer, but I was afraid. He asked me one question. He spoke to me a little bit just to pick up on my frequency and things of that sort. He asked me one question. What's your biggest fear about becoming an officer? And because I can be very candid and I don't really put a lot of thought into making something sound, woo, I said my biggest fear is that I'm not smart enough. He looked at me and he said, qualified. So I didn't take into account that I had been an enlisted NCO, non-commissioned officer, for 14 years, that I had been a platoon sergeant, that I had been a squad leader, that I had been a drill sergeant for 3 years of that I knew my weapon like I knew the back of my hand, that I knew how to read a map, that I knew, I knew tactical movements. I didn't take any of that into account because I didn't feel like I deserved to be there. You have some of these officers coming straight out of college. All they know is books and what they learned in basic training. And here I am with 14 years experience under my belt, and I felt like I didn't belong there. Imposter syndrome. I went on to be an officer and I did a great job, but imposter syndrome was always right behind me. So we will suffer with this imposter syndrome. I encourage you to do it afraid. Do it anyway. Seek mentors, seek education, continue to go on your journey, whether that is with shamanism, whether that is being a death doula, a birth doula, whether you're making natural products, whether you're doing sound therapy, whether you're massage or Reiki, whatever it is that you're doing on your spiritual journey that assists others in their healing and assists others in being whole. It's your holistic journey. And we need 360 degrees of holistic healing. If you've been called to it, that means that we need you. Yeah, we need you as a people to bring your gifts forward. So I encourage you today to be confident in what you're hearing from Spirit, what you're getting from your ancestors, the downloads that you're getting, that you are being called in a direction to provide a service for others in their healing, and to provide a service for yourself in your healing, which goes back to my shadow work example. I am still working on my shadow. I went to get notes for shadow work, and then what showed up? My shadow was standing in the room with me. Shadow work is a beast. You hear me? So when I come with you with shadow work, I want to give you something of substance. Something that you can use along your journey, not just surface stuff, because shadow work is so deep. It is such a deep topic, but it is so needed. It is so needed, and it's needed to be given out in a language that people can understand, that they can take, in a language that people can, that's tangible, that people can actually use. So it does require me getting in there and studying and just taking the hits with my shadow, because it's going to come up when you start studying certain things. Your own issues will come up. You do not have to be 100% healed, 100% knowledgeable to get started on your journey. We need you, and we need you now. So don't be afraid of your calling. Listen to your inner voice. Stand in your power and have confidence that you're just as good. Get you a mentor. Follow someone. Watch someone. Learn as you go. Add your own vibrational frequency to it. There's plenty of people out there to heal. There's plenty of people out there to assist in their healing. There's plenty of people out there to hold space for. It's not a competition. Your vibe will attract your tribe, yeah? So, if there's 10 people that are working in the healing field, there's 10 million people that need it. So you are not short of people who need your services. You are not short of people who will be attracted to your vibe. So I encourage you today to continue on your journey. Do not let imposter syndrome stop you. Head and eyes straight forward. Keep doing what you're doing and keep your third eye on a swivel. Yeah? Y'all have a good day. That's all I have for now. Leave a like or a subscribe or a comment, and we'll see you next time here on Closing the Gap, where we make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your spiritual journey.